Listen up, my brothers and sisters. This is Denzel Washington speaking straight from my heart to yours. Life can hit you like a tidal wave, can it? 1 minute you're standing tall, feeling like you've got it all together. And the next you're on your knees, gasping for air, wondering how you ended up here. Betrayal, heartbreak, loss. The people you trusted most, friends, lovers, family, they turned their backs, left you shattered, questioning if you'll ever feel whole again. What's your name? Where are you right, mate? You're in your living room, staring at the ceiling or driving down a quiet road. Your mind replaying that moment when everything fell apart. Perhaps you're at work, smiling on the outside but crumbling within, asking God, why me? Why this pain? Where are you in this storm? I've been there, my friends. I've felt that ache, that raw, relentless hurt that makes you wonder if joy will ever find you again. But let me tell you something, God's got a plan, and it's bigger than your tears, deeper than your wounds, greater than anything you've lost. He's calling you right now through the chaos, through the silence, whispering, my child, trust me. This pain ain't your ending, it's the foundation of your comeback. Psalm chapter 34, verse 18 affirms, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. So lean in close, because I'm about to walk you through 9 powerful truths, straight from my soul, about why God allowed them to hurt you. These truths will lift you, heal you, and guide you to a purpose so bright your pain will pale in comparison. Let's take this journey together, hand in hand with God, and let Him light the way. Sometimes, my friends, life blindsides you with pain so sharp it steals your breath. There are moments when it hits like a freight train, and you didn't even see it coming. You poured your heart into someone, your loyalty, your love, your time, your dreams, and they turned around and betrayed you. Maybe it was a friend who stabbed you in the back, a partner who walked away without a word, or a family member who broke your trust in ways you never thought possible. Now you're left picking up the pieces, replaying every conversation, every memory, asking, how did I miss this? Why didn't I see it coming? You're wrestling with guilt, beating yourself up, thinking you were too naive, too trusting, too blind to their true intentions. What's your story? Who hurt you? Where are you carrying that weight? But hold on, God's calling you to pause that self-blame right now. You weren't blind, my friend. God was shielding you, protecting you from seeing their heart too soon, because He knew you weren't ready to face it. He's saying, my child, I see it all. Trust my timing and let me guide you through. When you love someone deeply, you don't see them clearly, you see them through a lens of hope, of faith, of possibility. You see their potential, not their poison. You see the moments they were kind, not the times they manipulated. You see the person you prayed they could be, not the one they chose to become. And God, He knew that about you. He knew your heart, your tendency to give second chances, to believe in redemption, to hold on even when the signs were there. That's why He didn't pull back the curtain right away, didn't expose their truth the moment you met them. If He had shown you their real intentions too soon, you wouldn't have believed it. You'd have brushed it off, made excuses, said they're just stressed, or they didn't mean it. You'd have clung to the hope they'd change, fought to keep a relationship that was never meant to last. So God, in His infinite wisdom, let you walk through that experience, let you feel the sting, let you go through the fire, not to burn you, but to forge you. Isaiah chapter 55, verse 8 states, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. God's perspective is higher, His plan deeper, and He's using this pain to teach you truths you could only learn by living them. Think about it. Have you ever had a moment where you look back and saw God's hand all along? Maybe it was a fleeting feeling, a knot in your stomach you ignored, a small lie you caught but forgave, a moment they made you feel less than, but you told yourself it was nothing. What was that moment for you? When did God whisper a warning you didn't hear? Those were His glimpses, gentle nudges, but He didn't show you the whole picture because your heart wasn't ready to let go. If He had laid it all bare, every secret, every lie, every hidden motive, you'd have fought to hold on. Convince yourself you could fix it, change them, make it work. You'd have poured years into a sinking ship, trying to save something already lost. God saw what you couldn't. He saw their heart, their unspoken thoughts, the plans they never shared, the actions they took when you weren't looking. He heard the conversations you were never privy to, saw the moments they pretended to care while plotting against you, watched them laugh at your kindness, exploit your trust, undervalue your worth. He knew their true character, their capacity for harm, their inability to be the person you needed. That's why he allowed this pain not to crush your spirit, but to free it, to heal you by breaking the illusions you held, the attachments you cherished, the lies you told yourself to keep going. God's calling you now, saying, let go of what I've removed. Trust me to make you whole again. You might be asking God, if you saw it all, why didn't you stop them before they hurt me? Why let me walk into this trap? Because if he had yanked them out of your life too soon, you'd have chased them. If he had exposed their truth before you were ready, you'd have doubled down, tried to prove him wrong, begged for a relationship, a friendship, a connection that was already rotting at its core. You'd have spent years trying to fix what was never meant to be fixed, pouring your energy into someone who didn't deserve it. So God in his mercy waited for the right moment, the moment their true colors would shine so bright you couldn't look away, when their betrayal would be undeniable, their heart laid bare. It hurts, I know. It feels like a knife twisting in your chest. But when they betrayed you, when they walked away, God was protecting you. He's saying, I've got a better plan, a brighter path. Trust me through this darkness. Pain is a powerful teacher, my friends. It's the only thing strong enough to wake us up sometimes. Think about it. If God had whispered in your ear, this person's going to break your heart, would you have listened? Or would you have defended them, said, no, God, they love me. They're different. They'd never do that. God knew you needed to see it for yourself, to feel the weight of their actions, to experience the truth in a way that left no room for doubt. That pain was necessary because now you see. Now you know. Now you understand who they really were, and you're free to move forward without looking back. But here's the most beautiful part. God didn't just see their betrayal, he sees your future. You're sitting there mourning what you lost, crying over the love, the trust, the time you gave. But God, he's celebrating what he's making room for. You're grieving the person who left, but he's preparing someone who will stay, someone who will value you, honor you, walk beside you through every storm. You're holding tight to old memories, replaying the good times, but God's writing a new chapter, one so vibrant, so full of promise, those memories will feel like shadows. You thought they were the best thing that ever happened to you, but God saw them holding you back, keeping you from your purpose. You thought they completed you, but he saw them chipping away at your spirit, piece by piece. You thought you needed them. But God saw them draining your light, blocking you from the life he designed, a life of joy, impact, and unshakable faith. He's calling you now, saying, rise up, my child. Your blessing is closer than you think. Sometimes God's protection looks like pain. It looks like betrayal, rejection, loss. It feels like the ground's been pulled out from under you, like everything you built has crumbled. But in reality, it's love, it's grace, it's wisdom beyond what we can comprehend. Imagine if God had let you stay in that situation, blind to their truth forever. Picture yourself years from now, still trusting the wrong people, still pouring into relationships that only take, still trying to fix what was broken from the start. That's not love, that's punishment. And God loves you too much to let that happen. He loves you too fiercely to let you settle for less than his best. To let you build your life on a foundation that was never meant to hold you. So he removed them. He exposed their heart. He let you feel the pain, not to break you, but to wake you up, to set you free, to redirect you to a path of purpose. And here's the gift in that pain. Now you're wiser. Now you see with clearer eyes. You trust your instincts more, those gut feelings you once ignored. You don't brush off red flags, don't make excuses for bad behavior. Don't give endless chances to people who don't deserve them. You're stronger, sharper, more aware, and that's exactly what God wanted for you. There's something bigger coming, my friend, something greater than anything you've known. God needed to clear out the wrong people, the toxic ties, the draining connections, so when the right ones come, the right friends, the right love, the right opportunities, you're ready to receive them. He's saying, I'm preparing you for abundance. Trust my process. If you'd stayed blind, you'd have missed it. If you'd stayed tethered to them, you'd have never moved forward. If you'd stayed in that toxic space, you'd have never stepped into the fullness of God's plan. So yes, God saw what you couldn't, their betrayal, their heart, the future you couldn't yet imagine. That's why he let it happen, let you hurt. Let them break you, because sometimes to save you, God has to let you break first. He's calling you now, saying, trust me, even when it hurts. I'm leading you to something greater. Keep walking, my friends. Your breakthrough's closer than you know. But pain doesn't just reveal, it reshapes you, my brothers and sisters. It's a transformer, a force that doesn't just hurt but rebuilds you, strips away your illusions, forces you to face truths you'd rather avoid, and demands you grow in ways comfort never could. What's your pain teaching you right now? Where are you stretching, growing, becoming? Pain reaches places inside you that joy, ease, or success can't touch. It shakes your soul to its core, sharpens your perspective, builds a resilience you didn't know you possessed. Pain doesn't whisper softly, it roars. It doesn't tap you gently, it grabs you, shakes you awake, hands you hard truths you can't ignore. It feels cruel, relentless, unfair in the moment, but it's one of life's greatest teachers, giving you wisdom that comfort could never offer. God's saying, let this pain mold you. I'm building something eternal in you. Think back to the moments you grew the most. Was it during the easy days when life was a breeze? When everyone treated you right, when success came without effort? No, my friends. You grew in the struggle, in the hurt, in the moments pushed you so hard you had to either fight or fall. You grew when betrayal cut deep, when rejection left you reeling, when failure made you question your worth. Those were the moments that forged you, that made you dig deep, that forced you to adapt, to rise, to become someone stronger than you were before. Pain is a catalyst for change. It makes you see yourself with new eyes, see life with new clarity, see people for who they really are. It reveals what truly matters: love, faith, purpose, and exposes what doesn't: ego, approval, temporary pleasures. It forces you to rethink your choices, your priorities, your boundaries. It makes you question who you can trust, what you're chasing, why you're living the way you are. It strips away the lies you tell yourself and lays reality bare, raw, unfiltered. James chapter 1 verse 2 reveals, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds. Trials are your training ground, and God's using this pain to build a masterpiece in you. When you go through deep pain, something shifts inside you. You realize the things you once obsessed over, other people's opinions, their validation, the small dramas that used to consume you, don't hold the same weight. Pain realigns your heart, teaches you to value peace over chaos, wisdom over ignorance, growth over stagnation. It builds a strength you didn't know you had, puts you in situations that feel impossible to survive, yet here you are, still standing. It takes you to your lowest points, where you feel broken beyond repair, and then it makes you fight your way back, step by painful step. The person who emerges from that struggle, that's not the same person who went in. That's a wiser you, a tougher you, a you with scars that tell a story of survival, a victory of grace. What's your name? What strength is this pain building in you right now? God's calling you, saying, keep fighting. I'm shaping you into a warrior. There are some lessons you can only learn through suffering, some wisdom that only pain can impart. When everything's going your way, you don't pause to reflect. You don't question how temporary things are. Don't evaluate the people in your life. Don't ask yourself if you're truly fulfilled, truly growing, truly aligned with God's purpose. You just coast, floating along, comfortable but unchallenged. But when pain crashes in, everything changes. Pain demands your attention, forces you to see what you've been avoiding, to face truths you've been dodging. It pulls you out of your comfort zone and throws you into the fire. And that fire, it burns away everything weak, everything false, everything that no longer serves you. It refines you, purifies you, makes you stronger than you ever thought possible. It's God's forge, and He's crafting something unbreakable in you. People who've never truly suffered don't carry the same depth as those who have. They don't have your understanding, your resilience, your hard-earned wisdom. Comfort doesn't teach you how to survive a storm. It doesn't show you how to fight when the odds are against you. It doesn't prepare you to rebuild when everything's in ruins. But pain does. Pain reveals who you really are, your strength, your weaknesses, your capacity for endurance. It exposes what needs fixing, what needs healing, what needs to change. It forces you to become someone who can face anything, who can stand tall in the face of adversity, who can keep going when the world tells you to quit. What's your pain showing you about yourself? Where is God stretching you? He's saying, this is your training. I'm preparing you for greatness. Pain also changes how you see life. It makes you appreciate things in a way comfort never could. When you've been through heartbreak, you treasure genuine love when it comes. When you've been betrayed, you hold loyalty close, recognizing its rarity. When you've lost everything, you cherish what you have, no matter how small. When you've suffered in silence, you understand the power of a kind word, a listening ear, a moment of compassion. Pain deepens your gratitude, makes you find beauty in the ordinary, a sunrise, a quiet moment, a genuine smile. It makes you cherish peace, those rare moments when your heart feels still. It teaches you that happiness isn't found in things, in status, in external validation. It's found in clarity, in wisdom, in knowing who you are and what truly matters. God's calling you, saying, look at the beauty I'm showing you through this pain. Pain humbles you, strips away pride, reminds you that no one's invincible, that life can change in an instant, that what felt secure can vanish overnight. It teaches you to hold nothing for granted, a lesson comfort rarely offers. It makes you more compassionate, more understanding, more patient with others' struggles. It gives you the ability to connect with those who are hurting, to see their pain because you felt it too. That's one of pain's greatest gifts. It equips you to help others. The wisdom you gain from your struggles isn't just for you, it's for the people who'll cross your path. The ones who will walk the road you've walked. The ones who will need your strength, your insight, your hope. You become a beacon for them, a living testament that pain doesn't have the final word. When you've known deep pain, you recognize it in others. You see the silent suffering in their eyes, hear the unspoken sadness in their voice, feel the weight of their wounds because you've carried the same ones. You become someone they can turn to, someone who offers real wisdom, real support, real hope. That's why you're here, because your pain becomes your ministry. God's not just suffering for yourself, you're for those you're destined to touch, those who will show others that healing is possible. He's saying your pain has purpose. You can't see it yet. God's saying pain is only temporary, but it's the wisdom you gain from it's what lasts forever. Your suffering will fade, but it's the pain that will build your strength in you and will stay. It'll heal your heartbreak and it'll shape your future into something better for you. When that pain fades, the lessons it taught you will guide your future. God's why pain is necessary, because without it, you wouldn't become the person He created you to be for Him. Without it, you'd miss out on the depth, the wisdom and strength that makes you unstoppable. He's saying comfort keeps you tethered, but God's forging you through pushing you into a purpose you can't yet fathom. You're not just surviving to survive this, you're meant to thrive through this. Rejection, though, can feel like a dagger to your soul. It cuts deeper than most pains, stings in a way that shakes your confidence, makes you question everything you're worth, your purpose, your place in the world. Whether it's a lover who walked away, a job you poured your heart into but didn't get, or an opportunity you fought for but slipped away through your fingers, rejection feels like a slap in the face. It feels personal, like you weren't enough, like you failed, like you've lost something vital. God's saying, this isn't rejection, it's my redirection, my child. When rejection strikes, you ask, why? Why wasn't I chosen? Why didn't they want me? Why did this happen? You'll replay every moment, searching for what you could have done differently. Maybe you could have worked harder, been smarter, or more appealing. But that's not God's truth, my friends. He's saying you're not defined by rejection, it's God choosing you for me, not them. You're not meant to fail, that life's unfair, or that's God's turning His back on you. Rejection isn't mean you're unworthy, it's God closing a door that was never meant for you, steering you away from a path that didn't align with His purpose for you. It's His divine hand guiding you, even when it feels like He's a shove. God's saying, I see the whole picture, child. You don't see what's beyond that door, the heartbreak that relationship would have brought, the exhaustion that job would bring you caused, the limits that situation would have imposed on you. You see God's plan in the moment you want it. God sees your future. He's saying that person would have broken you. That role would have drained you. That path wasn't meant to carry you to your destiny. So He shuts the door, locks it tight, saying, you're meant for my perfect plan. John chapter 10, verse 9 confirms, I'm the gate, you'll enter through me, will be saved. God's guiding you through His gate to His path, to your purpose. When you feel rejected, all you feel is pain, loss, and the sense you've been pushed aside, unworthy. Rejection feels like abandonment, but it's not taking, it's making room for God's better. Think back, didn't God's rejection lead you to something greater? That breakup led you to someone who valued you, who saw your worth. That job loss didn't push you toward a career you were born for. That opportunity loss didn't spark a passion, a purpose, a talent you didn't know you'd had. In the moment, it felt like a dead end, a rejection, a loss. But God said, this is my redirection, not your end. That's rejection. It hides your truth at first, makes you wait, trust God's timing, grow. God's waiting for you to say, show me your way. Rejection doesn't just deny, it forces you to pause, to step back, to reevaluate. It makes you ask God, what do I truly want? It forces Him to let go of what you thought was meant to last, releases you from people, places, dreams that didn't serve God's purpose for you. It teaches resilience, the kind that comes from standing up after God's no. It builds patience, the patience that grows from waiting on God's perfect timing. It strengthens faith, the faith that believes even when the answer is not now. God's saying, rejection's not denial, it's preparation for my greater. If you'd gotten everything you wanted when you prayed for it, you wouldn't be who God's shaping today. You didn't learn how those rejections built resilience, how to fight through uncertainty, how to stand firm when things didn't go God's way. God's rejections built you, made you tougher, wiser, more aligned with God's purpose. He's saying, those humble doors opened my path. God didn't let you settle for less than His perfect for you. When you finally step into God's prepared, you'll see His rejections as blessings. You'll see how God's heartbreak saved you from suffering, how His loss opened doors you never dreamed, how His closed door led you to God's path you were born to walk for. God's waiting, saying, keep moving. The right door's coming. Sometimes, though, it's not just rejection, it's revelation. There are moments when life shows you the truth about people you thought had your back. The friends you trusted, the ones you believed would stand by you forever, betray you, and it shakes you to your core. It breaks you in ways you didn't think possible, leaves you questioning everything. How could they do this? Why didn't I see it? Were they always like this? It's a pain that's hard to describe, the gut-wrenching realization that someone you loved, respected, trusted was never who you thought they were. It hits deep, makes you doubt yourself, wonder if you were blind, naive, if you missed the signs all along. What's your betrayal story? Who let you down? Where are you carrying that hurt? That pain consumes you, keeps you up at night, replays in your mind as you try to make sense of it. But here's God's truth. You weren't blind, my friend. You weren't foolish. God hadn't revealed their true colors yet, knowing you wouldn't have believed it too soon. He's saying, I needed you to see the truth. Trust me to protect you. When you're deeply connected to someone, friend, partner, family, you see them through the eyes of love, of loyalty, of hope. Your heart wasn't ready to accept their flaws, their deceit, their hidden motives. If God had shown you their true heart earlier, you'd have made excuses, convinced yourself they were just going through a phase, that they'd changed, that deep down they were still the person you believed in. You'd have held on, fought to keep them, ignored the truth because it was too painful to face. So God waited. He waited for the right moment, the moment you'd see it for yourself, when their actions would speak louder than their words, when their betrayal would be so clear you could no longer deny it. That moment hurt, broke you, but it also freed you. Now you know who they really are, not who you wanted them to be. Now you can walk away without hesitation, without guilt, without wondering if you made a mistake. Proverbs chapter 26 verse 24 mentions, "Enemies disguise themselves with their lips, but in their hearts they harbor deceit." God's revealing their deceit to save you. That's why God lets people hurt you, not because he wants to see you suffer, but because he needs to show you the truth. He needs to reveal who deserves a place in your life and who doesn't, who's walking with you and who's working against you. He's separating you from people who hold you back, drain your energy, use your kindness for their gain. Sometimes the only way to do that is through betrayal, through pain, through seeing their true colors in a way you can't ignore. If they had stayed loyal, if they had kept playing the role of friend, partner, supporter, you'd have never seen their truth. You'd have kept them close, trusted them, loved them, relied on them, not knowing they were secretly undermining you, their heart never truly with you. You'd have continued investing in a relationship that was destined to fail, unaware that one day they could be the cause of your downfall. So God steps in, lets them show themselves, not to hurt you, but to protect you, to free you from relationships built on lies, to teach you that not everyone who stands beside you is truly for you. He's calling you, saying, "Trust my discernment. I'm clearing your path." This is a painful lesson, but it's vital. If you're going to grow, if you're going to step into the life God planned, you can't take just anyone with you. Not everyone deserves access to your heart, your energy, your dreams. Not everyone belongs in your inner circle, your front row, your future. Some people are meant for a season, a moment, not a lifetime. Those who weren't meant to stay, God will reveal. He'll show their true intentions, expose their hidden motives. Allow them to betray you, not because he enjoys your pain, but because he needs you to see the truth before it's too late, before their presence derails the purpose he's placed in you. When that truth hits, you've got a choice, my friends. You can hold on to the pain, let bitterness consume you, replay the betrayal over and over, letting it steal your peace, your joy, your faith, or you can choose to see it for what it is. A blessing in disguise, a divine intervention, a necessary loss to make room for something better. When someone's true colors are revealed, you gain clarity, freedom, the chance to protect your energy, to surround yourself with people who truly love you, who genuinely want the best for you. You get to move forward without the weight of false friendships, toxic relationships, or hidden enemies disguised allies. That's when healing begins, when you rise, when you see that loss wasn't loss, it was gain. Gain of wisdom, peace, self-respect, strength. God's saying, "I'm making room for better. Trust me." Now you know better. Now you won't ignore the signs, the small lies, the subtle disrespect, the moments they made you feel less than. You won't settle for half-hearted loyalty, conditional love, people who only show up when it benefits them. You'll protect yourself, set boundaries, choose your company wisely. The next time someone tries to enter your life, you won't just listen to their words, you'll watch their actions. You'll see how they treat you when they have nothing to gain. Notice the small things, the inconsistencies, the red flags you once brushed off. You've learned that not every smile is friendly, not every word of praise is sincere, not every person walking beside you is meant to go the distance. That's a lesson only experience can teach, a wisdom that only comes from being hurt, betrayed, from seeing people you trusted reveal their true selves in the most painful way. But once you have that wisdom, you're unstoppable. God's calling you, saying, "Walk with discernment. I'm guiding your steps." Now you move differently. You love with discernment, give with wisdom, understand that not everyone deserves a seat at your table. That understanding sets you free, protects your heart, prepares you for the life God planned, a life surrounded by genuine connections, true friendships, real love. He's not removing people from your life for no reason. He's making space for what's real, what's lasting, what's aligned with your purpose. He's positioning you for something greater, something that requires you to travel light, unburdened by those who don't truly care. So he reveals them. When he does, don't fight it. Don't chase after them, beg them to stay. Try to force something that was never meant to last. Let them go. Let them walk away. Let them show who they are. Then move forward in peace, knowing that what God removes, he replaces with something better. When God reveals their true colors, He's not trying to hurt you, He's protecting you, preparing you for a future brighter than your past. God's calling you, saying, let them go. I've got something greater waiting. Life doesn't just reveal people, it prepares you through the storms it brings. It has a way of throwing curveballs when you least expect them. You think you've got it all figured out, think you've finally found your footing, and then out of nowhere a storm crashes in. Someone betrays you. A door you counted on slams shut. You face heartbreak, rejection, failure, and it feels like your world is falling apart. Like everything you worked for, believed in, poured your heart into is slipping away. You wonder why. You wonder what you did to deserve it. You wonder if God sees your pain, hears your cries, cares about the weight you're carrying. The pain is real, the struggle heavy, and even the strongest among us feel like giving up sometimes. What's your storm right now? Where's it hitting you hardest? Where are you fighting to keep going? But hear me, this isn't meant to destroy you, my friend. This pain, this struggle, this heartbreak isn't punishment, it's preparation. God's not letting you suffer for nothing. He's not standing by watching you hurt without purpose. He's strengthening you, toughening you up, building your resilience, your endurance, your wisdom. He's preparing you for something bigger than you can imagine right now. God's saying, my child, this is your training ground. I'm building a warrior in you. Every great warrior has to be trained. Every great leader has to be tested. Every strong person you admire didn't wake up one day with unshakable faith, unbreakable will, undeniable strength. They went through battles that taught them how to fight, struggles that showed them how to stand, moments that pushed them to keep moving forward even when every fiber of their being wanted to quit. That's what's happening to you right now. You're in training, being molded, refined, sharpened. There's something ahead of you, something bigger than this moment. Greater than this pain, worth every tear, every fight, every step. If you don't go through these battles now, if you don't learn these lessons now, you won't be ready for what's coming next. Romans chapter 5 verse 3 affirms, we also glory in our sufferings, because we know that suffering produces perseverance. God's using this pain to produce something eternal in you. You might think this is hard, that this betrayal, this rejection, this disappointment is the worst thing you'll ever face. But it's just the beginning. Just level one. If you can't handle this, if you let this defeat you, how will you survive the bigger battles waiting down the road? Life isn't easy, my friends. Success isn't handed to you. Love isn't always kind. There will always be challenges, obstacles, people who try to pull you down, situations that test your patience, moments that push you to your limits. If you're going to make it, if you're going to step into God's plan, fulfill your purpose, you can't be weak. You can't crumble every time something goes wrong. You've got to be battle-tested, able to take a hit and keep going, to walk through the fire without being consumed. That's what this pain is doing, equipping you, strengthening you, preparing you. This heartbreak, it's teaching you to love yourself first, to know your worth doesn't depend on someone else's approval. This betrayal, it's showing you how to discern who deserves your trust, who's worthy of your heart. This rejection, it's proving your value isn't tied to someone else's choice, that God's opinion of you is what matters. This failure, it's building resilience, persistence, the grit to get back up after falling. Every struggle equips you with something you'll need later. Every tear waters the soil for something greater to grow. Every painful moment shapes you into the person God created you to be. What's your pain equipping you for? Where is God preparing you to shine? He's saying, this is your forge, I'm making you unbreakable. Most people don't see it that way. They let pain break them, make them bitter, harden their hearts instead of strengthening their spirits. That's why they stay stuck, settle for less, never rise to the level they were created for. They run from pain instead of learning from it. Let struggle defeat them instead of growing through it. But not you, my friend. You are not meant to be defeated. You are not meant to be broken beyond repair. You are not meant to give up on yourself, your dreams, your faith just because things get hard. You are meant to rise, to overcome, to walk through the fire and come out stronger, shining with God's glory. God's calling you, saying, keep fighting. I'm with you every step. Embrace the process. Stop seeing struggles as punishment and start seeing them as preparation. Stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this teaching me? How is God using this to grow me? Focus on the growth happening inside you, even if you can't see it yet, even if all you feel is pain. You are growing, being stretched, strengthened, prepared. When the time comes, when you step into that next season, when the bigger battle arrives, you'll look back and realize every struggle was necessary. Without this pain, these challenges, you wouldn't have been ready for what's ahead. God's saying, I'm equipping you for victory. Trust me. The dreams you hold, the future you pray for, the purpose you feel deep in your soul, they don't come easy. They don't fall into your lap. They require strength, faith, a version of you that's tougher, wiser, disciplined than who you are now. The only way to become that person is to go through the fire. Don't fight it. Don't resist it. Don't let pain make you give up. Let it shape you, build you, turn you into the warrior God created you to be. When bigger battles come, and you'll be ready. You'll be unshakable. You'll be unstoppable. That's why you're going through this, not because God's punishing you, not because He's abandoned you, but because He's preparing you. He sees what's ahead, knows that if you survive this, you can survive anything. When that day comes, when you stand on the other side, when you look back at everything you overcame, you'll understand why it had to happen this way. Every battle, every tear, every setback, every setback wasn't the end of you, it was the making of you. That's why you cannot quit, my friends. That's why you must keep fighting, keep trusting, keep believing in God's plan, even when it hurts. Trust the process, trust the pain, trust that God is building you for something greater than you can imagine. He's calling you, saying, stay strong. Your victory is coming. But your pain isn't just for you, it's for others too. There's someone out there who needs your story, my brothers and sisters. Right now, someone's walking the same path you've walked, carrying the same pain, the same hopelessness, wondering if they'll ever make it through, if they'll ever heal, if they'll ever find their way again. Yes, you are going to be their proof that it's possible. You're going to make it through this storm. You're going to come out stronger, wiser, more radiant. And when you do, your journey, your survival, your resilience will light the way for someone else. What's your name? What's your story going to inspire? Who's waiting for your testimony? God's saying your pain has a purpose bigger than you. Share it and let my light shine through. Your pain isn't just about you. It's not just for your growth, your lessons, your transformation. It's for the people you'll impact one day, the ones who'll look at your life and say, if they got through that, I can get through this. Think about the people who've inspired you. The ones whose words, actions, stories gave you hope when you had none. Were they people with perfect lives who never faced pain, loss, or struggle? No, my friends. The ones who inspire us most are the ones who overcame, who stood in the fire and refused to burn, who were knocked down but got up again and again until they won. That's going to be you. One day your story will be the spark that keeps someone going, the light that guides them through their darkness. 2 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 4 states, He comforts us in all our troubles so that we can comfort those in any trouble. God's comforting you now so you can comfort others later. Right now it might not feel like it. All you see is the storm, the chaos, the weight of everything you're carrying. You feel weak, broken, lost, like you're barely holding on, but you don't realize you're writing a story that will change lives. One day someone will find strength in your journey, hope in your survival, courage in your scars. They'll hear what you've been through and realize they're not alone, that their pain isn't unique, that there's a way forward. Pain connects us, reminds us we're not isolated in our struggles, gives us the ability to reach others in ways comfort never could. When you share your journey, when you show the world what you've overcome, you become a beacon, a light in someone's darkness. God's saying, your story's my tool. Use it to lift others. But that only happens if you don't give up, if you keep going, if you decide right now that no matter how hard it gets, this pain won't destroy you. Your struggle isn't just yours, it's for the people who are silently hurting, praying for a sign, searching for proof they're not alone. You'll be that proof, your story, evidence that pain is temporary, that healing is possible, that strength is built in the struggle. Your testimony will remind them, even in their darkest moments when hope feels out of reach, there's a way forward, a light at the end of the tunnel. What's your pain preparing you to share? Who's waiting for your voice? God's calling you, saying, keep going. Your story's not over. You've got to make it through first, my friends. The world doesn't need a perfect story, someone who never struggled, never hurt, never failed. It needs your story real, raw, unfiltered. It needs your scars, not as signs of weakness, but as proof you survived, as evidence of God's grace in your life. When you share your battles, when you open up about the fires you walked through, something powerful happens, you heal, you reclaim your strength, you see that your pain was never in vain. It was meant to serve a greater purpose, to touch lives, to show others that God can turn ashes into beauty. Someone out there is walking through the same fire you faced, carrying the same burdens you've carried. Right now, they don't know if they'll make it. They're doubting, questioning, feeling like they're alone in their pain. But when they hear your story, when they see how you rose from the ashes, how you turned pain into purpose, they'll believe they can too. That's why you must keep going. Why you must fight for your future. Why you must refuse to let this pain be the end of your story. Your story is bigger than you, my friends. Think about those who faced the worst pain imaginable and used it to inspire the world, those who lost everything but rebuilt, who were abandoned, rejected, broken, but chose to rise. What if they had given up? What if they let pain silence them? The world would have lost something powerful, something life-changing. The same is true for you. God's saying your story matters. Live it boldly. The world needs your strength, your courage, your testimony. But you've got to live through it first, through the nights when you feel you have nothing left, through the moments you want to quit, through the seasons when pain feels like your only companion. Refuse to let pain define you, control you, break you. Every tear, every battle, every scar is part of the testimony that will save someone else. That's why you cannot let this defeat you, why you must keep pushing, keep believing, keep trusting God's plan. One day you'll stand before someone walking the road you walked, look into their eyes, see the pain you once felt, and tell them with confidence, with authority, with the weight of experience, you will make it. Because I did. That moment will change everything for them. That's the power of your story, the gift of your survival. Keep going, my friends. God's calling you, saying your pain's a beacon. Shine it for the world. Pain also shifts your reliance, teaching you where to anchor your trust. There are seasons in life when the people you trusted most walk away, when you look around and realize those you thought would always be there are nowhere to be found. You wonder how those who said they loved you could turn their backs, why those you depended on most let you down when you needed them. It hurts, my friends, because you gave them your heart, your trust, your faith, believing they'd be there through thick and thin. They weren't. Now you're left feeling empty, lost, betrayed, picking up the pieces of something you thought was unshakable. What's your lost story? Who walked away from you? Where are you feeling that void? But this pain isn't your end, it's a redirection, a divine shift. God's removing people from your knife to remind you they were never your source, never your foundation. He's saying, my child, I'm your rock, lean on me, and I'll never fail you. We live in a world where we depend on people more than we depend on God. We lean on relationships, friendships, connections like they're eternal, like they'll never falter. We put faith in humans who are just as flawed, just as fragile, just as temporary as we are. When they leave, when they change, when they betray us, our world collapses, our hearts shatter, our sense of security crumbles. Maybe that's what needed to happen. Maybe God allowed them to walk away so you turn to Him, so you'd stop placing your trust in people who were never meant to hold your heart. Maybe he let you feel this loneliness so you'd realize you were never alone, that he's been there all along, waiting for you to lean on him. God's calling you, saying, I'm your constant, trust me above all. People will fail you, my friends. They'll let you down, make promises they can't keep, swear they'll stay forever, then walk away when the road gets rough. They'll say they love you, but love with conditions, with limits, with selfish intentions. God is not like them. God doesn't leave, doesn't change, doesn't betray. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. Sometimes he removes those you thought you needed to show you he's all you ever needed. When you put people on a pedestal, when you make them your everything, when you rely on them more than you rely on God, he'll allow them to be removed, not to hurt you, not to punish you, but to protect you from leaning on something that was never built to hold you, from putting faith in something that was never meant to be your foundation. Hebrews chapter 13 verse 5 confirms, never will I leave you, never will I forsake you. God's promise is your anchor. We often seek from people what only God can give. People can encourage you, but they can't sustain you. They can love you, but they can't fill the void in your soul. They can promise forever, but they don't control the future. Only God does. He's teaching you in this painful moment to rely on him, to find your strength, your peace, your purpose in him alone. If you keep depending on people to make you whole, to give you purpose, to bring you happiness, you'll always be disappointed, always empty when they leave. But when you depend on God, when you trust him instead of them, you become unshakable. Pain won't destroy you. Loss won't define you. When people walk away, your world won't collapse. When they let you down, your faith won't waver. No matter who comes or goes, you'll stand firm because God holds you up. God's saying, I'm your foundation. Build on me. Relying on God brings a peace that doesn't make sense, a peace that carries you through the storm. It shows you your worth isn't tied to who stays or leaves, that your value comes from the one who created you. It proves that those who left weren't meant to carry you to your destiny. If they were, they'd still be here. They're not. And that's okay, because God is here. And he's never leaving things. Instead of mourning those who walked away, trust the one who stays. Instead of chasing people who let you go, chase God who's been waiting for you to turn to him. Instead of trying to understand why they hurt you, why they abandoned you, why they changed, ask God, what are you teaching me? He's teaching you that no human should take his place in your life, that no one, no matter how much you love them, is your savior. The only one who will never leave, never betray, never disappoint is him. That's the love, the security, the foundation you need. God's calling you, saying, I'm enough. Trust me fully. Let them go, my friends. Let them walk away. Let them do what they need to do. Their absence makes room for something greater. Their betrayal pushes you towards something stronger. Their rejection forces you into a relationship with God that cannot be shaken. That relationship, that trust, that faith will change everything. When you trust God more than people, you stop worrying about who stays or leaves. When you lean on him instead of humans, you stop fearing loneliness. When you look to him for approval, for direction, for love, you stop chasing people who were never meant to have your heart. That peace, that security, that freedom is what God wants for you, what he's leading you toward. But first, he had to remove the distractions, take away those you depended on more than him. Strip away the false foundation so you could stand on him alone. Yes, it hurt. Yes, it felt like betrayal, like loss, but it's not loss, it's gain. You're gaining a faith that's not tied to people, a love that's not based on conditions, a foundation that'll never crumble. That's why God let them go, allowed the pain, didn't let those relationships last, because he loves you too much to let you build your life on something that was never meant to hold you. God's calling you, saying, trust me with your heart. I'm your forever. When hurt runs deep, it's natural to want justice. When someone wrongs you, there's a fire in your chest, a weight in your soul, a voice whispering, they need to feel this pain too. Lies, manipulation, betrayal, they ignite something deep, a desire to make them hurt as you hurt, to feel the sting of their own actions, to know the heartbreak, the disappointment, the betrayal they inflicted on you. It's not just anger, it's deeper. It's the injustice of it all. You gave them your loyalty and they threw it away. You stood by them and they abandoned you. You loved them and they took it for granted, played with it, destroyed it. Now you're picking up the pieces while they walk away untouched, unbothered, like nothing happened. It doesn't feel fair, my friends. When something's unfair, instinct screams to balance the scales, to make them regret crossing you, to ensure they never forget what they did. What's your pain pushing you to do? Where's your heart leaning? God's saying, give that anger to me. This isn't your battle. Revenge is tempting, isn't it? It pulls at you, whispers that you need to act, to retaliate, to show them you're not weak, not someone to be played with. But that's not your battle to fight, not your weight to carry. The moment you step into revenge, you step out of God's will. You tell him you don't trust him to handle it. God doesn't take betrayal lightly, my friends. He doesn't ignore the pain inflicted on his children. He doesn't turn a blind eye to your tears, your wounds, your broken heart. His way of handling it, of balancing the scales, isn't like yours. It's not impulsive, fueled by rage or reckless. It's divine, perfect, undeniable. When God steps in, when he deals with those who wronged you, he does it in a way that leaves no doubt it's his justice, not yours. God's calling you, saying, let me handle this. I see it all. So let go, my brothers and sisters. Step back. Take all that anger, that pain, that desire for vengeance, and place it in God's hands. He sees what you don't see, the battles they're already fighting, the consequences unfolding in their lives, the ways life is correcting them that you'll never know. You think they got away with it, that they're happy while you hurt, that life's rewarding them while you suffer. But you have no idea what's happening behind the scenes, what's weighing on their mind when they're alone, what guilt creeps in at night, what relationships are crumbling, what opportunities are slipping away as their true colors show. You may not see it, but God does. Romans chapter 12, verse 19 reveals, do not take revenge, my dear friends, but leave room for God's wrath. His justice is certain, his timing perfect. Revenge isn't yours to take. When you try to make them pay, you misalign yourself with what God's already doing. You get in the way, slow his process, shift your focus from his justice to your emotions. Your emotions will lead you places you don't need to go, push you to act out of pain instead of wisdom, to fight battles that were never yours to wage. God is saying, I saw what they did. I heard the lies, watched the betrayal, felt your pain when they abandoned you, used you, hurt you. I see what's ahead, and I promise justice will be served. You don't have to chase it, force it, spend your time and energy plotting ways to make them feel your pain. Nothing you do could ever compare to what God will do. God's saying, trust my justice. Focus on your healing. God doesn't just handle people in the ways you might, he handles them in ways that teach, that humble, that force them to face themselves, to understand the weight of their actions. Your revenge could never deliver that kind of lesson. Your revenge would be temporary, driven by anger, maybe feel good for a moment. But would it erase your pain? Would it undo what happened? Would it bring you peace, closure, healing? No, my friends, revenge doesn't heal. It doesn't restore. It doesn't erase betrayal. It pulls you into the same darkness they lived in when they hurt you, makes you like them, poisons you with bitterness, hate, toxicity. You're better than that. You're called to a higher purpose, a greater path. God's calling you, saying, rise above. Walk in my light. You don't need to stoop to their level to get justice. You don't need to become the villain in your own story to make them pay. You don't need to dirty your hands punishing people who've already written their own downfall. When God deals with them, it won't just be about what they did to you. It'll be about who they are, what led them to hurt you, what they need to learn. That's a lesson only God can teach, a correction only he can deliver. Let go, my friends. Stop focusing on what they're doing. who they're with, what's happening in their life. Stop waiting for karma, watching for their downfall, holding on to pain like it's a weapon. The longer you hold it, the longer you stay tied to them. God didn't pull you out of that situation just for you to stay mentally, emotionally trapped. He pulled you out to free you, to heal you, to lead you to something better. God's saying, let them go. Your future's waiting. You can't step into that better future if you're clinging to the past. You can't receive what God has for you if your hands are clenched around pain, around anger, around a need for revenge. Open them, my friends, release it. Trust that God's handling it. It's hard to trust when you don't see consequences in real time, hard to believe in justice when they seem to be winning. But it only looks that way. What's happening beneath the surface in their mind at night, in their crumbling relationships, in their fading opportunities, and the weight of their actions catching up, you can't see it, but God can. God is not mocked, my friends. He's a God of justice, of correction, who sees every wrong done to you and doesn't ignore it. Let him do what he does best, work in ways beyond what you could ever achieve. Let him balance the scales his way. Instead of focusing on them, focus on you. Your healing is more important than their downfall. Your peace is more valuable than their suffering. Your purpose is greater than their punishment. The best revenge, the most powerful way to show they didn't break you, is to move forward, to live well, to heal, to thrive. While they're trapped in their consequences, you're free, walking in God's purpose, shining with his light. That's the life God's calling you to, a life of freedom, of healing, of victory. God's saying, leave justice to me. Walk in your purpose. And through it all, God's weaving a bigger story for you. There are moments when the weight of pain feels unbearable, when it presses down so hard you wonder if it'll ever lift. Betrayal, rejection, disappointment, they pile up layer upon layer until you're suffocating under the pressure. You've cried until your eyes burned, prayed until your voice gave out, begged God for answers, but all you've met is silence. In that silence, doubt creeps in, whispering dangerous lies. What if this pain is all there is? What if this struggle is my forever? What if nothing good comes from this? It's easy to feel forgotten in your suffering, to look around and see others thriving, succeeding, loved, while you sit with wounds that won't heal. You ask, why me? Why this betrayal? Why this loss? Why is life so unfair? The answers don't come quickly, no easy explanation for why God allowed the storm, why he let people walk away, why he let your heart shatter, why he let you sit in pain without warning. What's your pain whispering to you? Where's your hope right now? God's saying, hold on, my child. I'm working. But God's not explaining it to you, he's revealing it. And revelation takes time, growth takes time, healing takes time. While you're in that pain, questioning everything, God is working behind the scenes, moving pieces you can't see, shifting things in the spiritual realm that haven't yet touched the physical. He's preparing a blessing so big, so great, so powerful that one day you'll look back and say, now I see. Now it makes sense. Nothing God allows is wasted, my friends. Not one tear was shed in vain. Not one sleepless night went unnoticed. Not one betrayal, setback, or rejection was meaningless. It was all preparation for something bigger than you can imagine right now. Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11 declares, "For I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you." God's plan is unfolding even in your pain. You think you've lost, that this pain is punishment, that life's unfair, that you've been forgotten. But God removes to replace. He takes away what hurt to make space for what will bless. He breaks what wasn't meant for you to build something better. He allows suffering not to destroy you, but to refine you, to shape you into the person who can carry the blessing he's preparing. If you hadn't been hurt, you wouldn't have grown. If you hadn't been betrayed, you wouldn't have learned discernment. If you hadn't lost what you thought you needed, you wouldn't have opened your hands to receive what God had in store. You were looking at the small picture, the temporary, the now. God was looking at the bigger picture, the future, the blessing that requires a stronger, wiser, refined version of you. That version doesn't come through comfort, through an easy life, through being surrounded by people who don't deserve you. It comes through fire, through struggle, through pain. God's saying, this fire's refining you. Trust me. You're in the fire not because God's punishing you, but because He's purifying you, burning away the weak parts, strengthening what needs to be unshakable. Teaching you lessons that wouldn't reach your soul if life was always easy. There's a blessing on the other side so big, so mind-blowing, so beyond your expectations that when it arrives, the pain will make sense. The closed doors, the people who walked away, the heartbreak, the loss, the suffering, they'll all make sense. You'll see that if God had let you keep what you wanted, it would have robbed you of what you needed. If He had let you stay comfortable, you wouldn't have grown into the person capable of handling His blessing. If He had answered your prayers exactly as you asked, you'd have settled for less than He intended. God's calling you, saying, my plan's greater. Trust my vision. Sometimes God doesn't give you what you pray for because He has something greater in mind. Sometimes He lets people break your heart to protect you from a future you can't see. Sometimes He lets you struggle because it builds what's necessary for the next season. That next season holds a blessing that will leave you speechless, that will make you forget the sleepless nights, the unanswered prayers, the tears you thought would never stop. But you can't rush it, force it, demand that God explain it now. Faith doesn't work like that. Trust doesn't work like that. Growth doesn't work like that. The pain will make sense in time, my friends. Right now, your job isn't to understand, it's to trust, to believe, even though it hurts, even though it doesn't make sense, even though you're in the middle of chaos. God is in control. He's not late. He's not ignoring you. He's not punishing you. He's preparing you. God's saying, be patient. I'm crafting something beautiful. Preparation doesn't always feel good. It doesn't always feel fair or look like progress. Sometimes it feels like you're stuck, like you're going backward, like you're losing more than you're gaining. But when the blessing comes, when God reveals what He's been working on, you'll see why it had to happen this way. You'll understand why the relationship didn't work, why the opportunity slipped away, why you endured loneliness, waiting, wondering. What's coming is bigger than what you lost. It'll make you forget the pain of those dark nights, the weight of those unanswered prayers. It'll change everything. But you've got to hold on. Stop seeing pain as proof that God forgot you and start seeing it as proof that He's working, that He's shaping you, that He's clearing the way for something extraordinary. God's saying, I'm not done with you. Trust my timing. God doesn't waste pain. He doesn't let His children suffer without purpose. He doesn't allow storms without promising sunshine on the other side. He's a God of restoration, of redemption, of abundance. When He blesses you, He doesn't just replace what was lost, He multiplies it, makes what was broken whole, gives back more than you ever had, turns what the enemy meant for harm into something that elevates you, blesses you, strengthens you. Be patient, my friends. Trust that your pain has purpose. Believe that one day you'll look back and see that every moment, every tear, every struggle was leading you to something greater. When you step into the blessing God's prepared, you'll see that the pain wasn't punishment, it was a process, a journey to the life you were always meant to live. Lift your head, wipe your tears. What was meant to destroy you only made you unstoppable. God didn't allow this to break you, He allowed it to bless you beyond measure. God's calling you, saying, hold on. Your blessing's coming. My brothers and sisters, this is Denzel Washington, speaking to your soul, to your spirit, to the part of you that's been battered but not broken. You've heard these 9 truths, felt their weight, seen the purpose woven into your pain. Now what? Where are you going from here? What's your name, your dream, your next step? God's calling you louder than ever, His voice ringing through the storm. Rise, my child. Trust me. Your pain is not your ending, it's the foundation of your greatness. Don't sit in your hurt. Don't let betrayal define you. Don't let rejection stop you. You are stronger than you know, wiser than you feel, closer to your blessing than you can see. You've been through the fire, and you're still standing now. It's time to shine. Get up today, my friends. Take one step, no matter how small. Pray a prayer of faith. Journal your hopes. Forgive someone who doesn't deserve it. Dream again, even if it scares you. Share your story with someone who needs it, because your scars are their hope, your survival their inspiration. Tell me, what's one thing you'll do to move forward? Write it down. Tell a friend. Post it somewhere. Let the world know you're rising, that you're claiming God's promise over your life. Your pain is a testimony, your journey a light. God's not done with you, He's just getting started. And the best is yet to come. So trust Him. Lean on Him. Let Him turn your ashes into beauty, your mourning into joy. The blessings coming, bigger than your tears, brighter than your darkest nights, more powerful than anything you've lost. You're not broken, you're being built. You're not lost, you're being led. You're not alone. God's right there holding you, guiding you, loving you through it all. And I'm right here too, cheering you on, believing in you, praying for you. Go out there, live your purpose, let your story shine. The world needs your light, your strength, your faith. Rise up, my friends, and let God's glory be revealed in you. Amen.